Welcome back to Profits Unlimited podcast. And today what we're going to talk about is the value of getting out of the field. And what I mean by that is, it's a tough decision. I know when you think, okay, I'm trying to grow my business and how am I going to do it? And I've got all this grass to cut and we're thinking about the millions of things we got to do. But we're going to do a short talk today about, how you can accomplish that goal as a one truck operation or two truck operation and grow your company into something larger. I know when I thought of that, I hated the thought of giving up my route, quite honestly, because I was in my comfort zone every day, out mowing and trimming and, doing a little mulching and all the things that, we all do as a small business. And we're thinking, that's my comfort zone. So how do I get out of that comfort zone? What am I going to do? And I think what we do, we look at it and we say, all right, let's just take and do it a little bit at a time. And because I think the reluctancy we run into is none of us, or I shouldn't use the word none maybe, but a lot of times there's a lot of us out there, we really don't like the business side of the business, but we like the maintenance side. We don't mind going out there and hammering it out daylight to dark. But we come to a point in our businesses and our careers when we realize that we've got to do something a little different to grow the business, to be a little bigger. And how do we go about doing that? And I think one thing we want to talk about is delegation first. And I know that was one of the hardest things for me, is thinking about, okay, now I've got to hire somebody that I'm going to trust with all my customers. And when I finally hire that person, how much micromanaging might I have to do? This is just one of the things we start thinking about. And the mistake I made, quite honestly, when I first got out of the field and into more of the business side of the business, was I gave a person the responsibility of running that route and taking care of those customers, but I did not give them the authority to get that done. And what I mean simply is this, is I said, hey, here's the truck, here's the keys, here's the accounts, here's where you need to go, here's what you need to do. They rode with me for a while, and it's always easier when somebody's riding, they seem to understand, oh yeah, this is how we do it and this is why we do it. But when they finally get out there on their own, and then they've got somebody potentially sitting next to them, if you're running, say, a 2-person crew or 3-person crew, depending on what size crew you're actually running, then you got to let that person that is in charge be in charge. So don't just give them the responsibility of that route. Give them the authority to make some decisions while they're out there on that route, whether it's employee related, customer related, whatever it may be, because what's going to happen is they're going to make mistakes without a question, because nobody's going to do it exactly the way you do it or exactly the way I do it. But it goes back to the old saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And it's the same thing when you turn that responsibility over to somebody else to run that crew for you, is that at the end of the day, all that really matters is the jobs are done right, the jobs are completed within the bid time, and your customers are happy, right? I mean, as long as those goals are accomplished, just because I may start in the backyard and you may start in the front yard, doesn't really matter. And we can fine tune those small things as we move along. And that new person that you're putting out there to run that crew, they are going to make mistakes, without a question. There's going to be mistakes made. But correct those mistakes professionally with them. Nobody wants to be talked to like they're a dog. Nobody wants to be screamed at. Nobody wants to be disciplined in front of the rest of the crew. If somebody makes a decision you're different than what you would have potentially done, when they get in that day, first thing, let them cool off, right? Nothing worse than coming in from a day out there when you've been humping it all day. Put yourself in this position if you haven't, transitioned off of a crew yet. You come in, you're hot, you've been working all day. The worst thing in the world is you got to go to the phone and get your messages and start calling people back, right? You don't want to hear that initially. So give that person time to come in, settle down, sit down for a few minutes. And I've found that works a whole lot better with talking with our crew leaders now, even as a larger service, rather than catching them as soon as they're back in their trailer into the shop and saying, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened. Give them a few minutes to cool down and know that mistakes are going to be made, correct those mistakes, and give them an opportunity to fix it. And, something else that I had to learn, and this is where we got to remove your ego a little bit, because I had to remove my ego out of the way a little bit with this, is they're not going to get the jobs completed in the same time frame that you do or I do. And it doesn't mean that they're not working hard. It doesn't mean they're not working efficiently. It's just as owner operators, we're generally a little more productive than somebody that we hired to do the same job that we were doing. So, know that you're going to have to bid your jobs a little bit differently. I'm not saying you're going to have to be off the scale with your bidding process and double your pricing or anything like that. But just know that the time required to get a job done by you, the owner, or me, the owner, a lot of times is going to be different than when you've got somebody else doing that same job. And that's hard to realize. Took me a while to realize that too. So know that those are some transitions that you're going to have to make as bid your jobs a little bit differently. Be patient. Let the mistakes happen. Correct those mistakes. Let the crew leader know and learn from those mistakes, and they will get better. Some of the advantages that you see by getting yourself, into the office per se, whether that office is a full-blown office or whether it's just giving you time to do what you need to do to run your business more efficiently, is, you get to spend more time with your business. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to respond to your phone calls faster. You're going to be able to get your bids out more efficiently. Your billing is going to be billed on time. I talk to a lot of different companies, and one of the main things that I see a lot of smaller companies doing is they're slow on getting their invoicing out. And it's just because it's another hat you got to wear, right? As small companies, we wear a lot of hats. We wear the marketing hat, we wear the advertising hat, we wear the sales hat. We wear all the hats. We wear the production hat, we're the customer complaint department hat. So you get to remove some of those hats off your desk. Let your crew take care of the production side of it, and you start putting on your business hat. You're running your business. And everything is going to get the time that it deserves to help your company be more successful and more profitable. And what's that mean for you? Your company grows. You're showing your crew leader that, hey, you trust them to get the job done properly for you. Your customers are going to see, hopefully, the same quality of work being done by the crew. I know that was something else I ran into when I first got out of the field and inside and spending more time on the business side of my business, was my customers were a little bit reluctant of that as well, because they were used to seeing me out there on every job site. So just be prepared for that phone call. Well, hey, Wayne, why aren't you out here anymore? Hey, Mike, why aren't you out here anymore? Miss Smith, here's how I answered it. Miss Smith, because of customers like yourself, my company's had an opportunity to grow, and I've got to do some different things now other than just on the mowing side of it. And I've got this lady here or this gentleman here that's running the crew, Mike or Nancy, whoever's running that crew for you. They're going to do a great job for you. They're a great person. If you got any issues, let them know. And if it's not resolved, let me know. And I found that helped settle my customers down quite a bit, because I know that was a big concern I had, and it's a concern I'm sure you've got when you think, oh, I'm not going to be directly one-on-one with my clients anymore. So you will be one-on-one with them. You still get to talk to them. You can still go see them. You're weaning them off of you being the guy doing it. And the positive to look at that is, as your company grows, because you have gotten out of the truck and into running your business more efficiently, because you've got time to take care of the business side of your business, what you're going to see take place is every new customer that you add on, you don't have to wean them off of you, if that makes sense. they're used to having Mike out there or Nancy out there running the crew and providing that service for them. So it only affects your existing customer base. So take that opportunity. See the value in getting out of the truck. If you got to just get out of the truck maybe 1 or 2 days a week to start, to feel your way through it, that's fine. Just start it. Do it. Because the sooner you get out of the truck from a production side and into the business side of your business, the more successful, the more profitable you're going to be, and your overall business growth and profitability is going to be better. And you always look back, like I have a lot of times now, looking back, even though it's my 40th year in the industry, you look back and you say, I'm glad I finally did it. Because if you're stuck in a rut as a one truck operation, and I'm not criticizing a one truck operation, okay, if that's where you want to be, then that's a fine place to stay. Be successful, be profitable doing it. But if you want to grow your company, you're going to need to take the time to get out of the truck and into the business side of the business, and both your company and your customers and your employees will be more successful, be happier, and at the end of the day, remember, profit is not a dirty word, but the first step you got to take is getting out of the truck.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave us a comment below and we will get back to you soon. If you aren't already, please subscribe to our channel. Also, go like our Facebook page where you can interact with us and the whole Profits Unlimited community. Check out our great website with all of our 100% money-back guaranteed products at profitsorus.com. And remember, stay tuned for the latest and greatest content from us at Profits Unlimited.